Today, we're going to be talking about the dark significance of a lot of these things that make up, rap culture, from the chains to the cars to the money to the video vixens to the shaking your booty thing and all this stuff. We're going to be talking about that today because there is a dark reason why these things are out there, and the drugs and everything. There is a very dark reason why these are the things that we are seeing. And I want to talk about it so that we can be informed and we can know the plans of the evil people in this world, and we can avoid becoming a victim. So if you enjoyed this video, when you've heard this video, please do subscribe. I'd really appreciate that so much. Don't forget to hit the like button as well. And of course, let me know your thoughts in the comment section, whether you agree or disagree. I don't mind. I still want to hear from you anyways, okay? Let's get into it. So let's get straight to the point. I talked in one of my other videos about how I feel like rap has become the new rock. And I talked about how rock culture, rock music and everything brought in a lot of negative things into society today that have affected us in a way that's causing a lot of destruction and chaos. For example, drugs, Drugs is a thing that, was very much, was promoted from rock and roll artists and just the destructive life in general. I feel like this is kind of something similar we're seeing with rap, but with rap, I feel like it's a different type of thing. I feel like it's almost a form of programming that, like, in rap music, we see, and just in that rap culture, it's kind of creating us to have a lust for the things that Satan ultimately wants to offer to us, for us to therefore fall into his trap, for him to therefore take us to eternal damnation. Because we know that the enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy. So wherever I see destruction, I know the devil's there. He's had something to do with something there, right? In that kind of way. And so with all of this, I realized, and also from having just done some research and seeing what other people have been talking about, like to do the rap culture, this and that all of this stuff that they're promoting, it's to get us to have a lust for it. Excuse me. If you're a man, to lust after money so you can have a chain, so you can have a Lambo, so you can have whatever, you can buy the expensive champagne, and you can get the girls. If you're a woman, it's so that you lust after a guy who has that, so that you lust after having that body and caring more about your appearance. You lust after, being taken out for this and that. All things, by the way, which the enemy loves to offer, power, money, and fame, his faves, his favorite trio, that he loves to offer to people, obviously at the expense of your soul, and your life, and your ticket to heaven, might I add. But he likes to offer all these things. And when I say your ticket to heaven, by the way, guys, this is not just about heaven and hell. This is about the fact that Satan wants to create destruction on earth and in general, right? Having a relationship with God is not just about heaven, okay? Heaven is just a place where there is no evil. And hell is just a place where there is no good. That simple. But anyway, so I really think that this is why we see so much of this stuff. This is why we see so much of, like, them promoting this lifestyle and everything, is to make it attractive to us. This is why there's such a big drinking culture in music, in rap music and stuff, because they want to encourage that behavior in us, or like smoking weed and stuff like that. It's to encourage us to want to do those things because we want to look like that. We want to live that lifestyle. We want to be the ones in with the gold chains, the 3 chains, which all this stuff, if you think about it, doesn't really matter. And I often wonder, and here's how you guys can test if my theory is correct or not, right? Think about what society would be like and how differently you might see things if those things didn't exist. If you didn't see people coming around in chains and driving Lambos and whatnot and popping the best champagne, this and that, think about how would you actually feel? Like, what would your standards be if you're a woman? Like, what would you actually be lusting after, even in yourself? What body type would you be trying to be? Would you be as susceptible to wanting to have maybe a BBL, or get your lips done, your cheeks done, get your tummy tucked, or whatever? If you're, would you be as interested in looking for a guy who's got chains or who can drive you around in a Lambo? If you're a guy, same thing. Would you be as caring about, would you be as so much looking for a girl with a big booty? You know what I mean? And who looks a certain way? And would you be caring as much to be able to wear your gold chains and this and that? Would you be even as interested if you, and I noticed this myself, right? That sometimes I'll see stuff like, for example, we can talk about alcohol, right? It will be like, there are a lot of things that I consume that I would not see anything like most of the stuff I'm just talking about, because I don't like to watch a lot of this stuff because it's very polluting to the mind, right? So sometimes I will then watch something and I'll realize that, like, so for example, I could see somebody drinking like some red wine in something, and I would maybe not thought about red wine at all, like, and then all of a sudden I'm seeing red wine, I'm like, oh, I do like red wine. So it's like I'm thinking about it now because I've seen it. So now if I continue to consume things that are constantly reminding me of that type of thing, it's going to make me want to think about that thing more. And that's just like a very kind of basic level, but it's still the same thing. And so this is what the dark reason I think that they do this stuff. I know some people are like, oh, it's just a way to prove themselves to each other in the studio, to prove this and that, or to show what they've made, or because they're proud of what they've done. That's all fantastic, but we don't have to go to that extreme. And I feel like that whole lifestyle is very destructive. A lot of these rappers, you know, are heavily involved in crime, which they're promoting. A lot of these women are literally just there to be pieces of meat. That's not helping either group of us. It's not helping the men, because it's not, there are a lot of men who may not be able to live that lifestyle, or who may be great, amazing men who never get an opportunity because they can't flash around like that, but would actually really look after a woman. And if you gave them time, they would actually make really good money as well, if you would just give them a chance, you know, or not, and not be so caring about that. For us as the women, it makes it hard for us as women, because now, even with all these Meg Thee Stallions and Cardi B's and all these throwing their ass out all the time, I'm like, listen, we're making it so hard as women to want to, for men to want to wife us, for want to be in a serious relationship with us, because we're so accessible. I mean, they can just come onto your Instagram platform and see everything they want to see. Really, they can probably have you as long as they got money. And this is where we got the gold digger business deal, as I like to call it, where you have the woman who presents herself in a way that a man would want her, tries to make herself a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, right? Which nowadays you can just manufacture that. I might do a whole video on that, actually. And as men, sorry, I'm just writing this down. And you can just manufacture that these days. Get your lips done, you'll get a BBL, get your tummy tucked, get the right weave, get the right nails did, your eyelashes done, get your eyebrows done, everything done. Yeah, okay, cool. Now you're a baddie, right? Now you're a baddie. Throw some pictures on, get yourself some whatever clothes, throw some pictures on Instagram, use the right filter, use the right lighting. Okay, you're a baddie now, right? Okay, cool. Now as a guy, yeah, get yourself enough money, be able to be flashy, get yourself a nice car, blah blah blah, right? The guy's basically making himself something that would attract the woman just there for the money. Like, look, as long as you can pay for my lifestyle, because I need someone to pay for my nails, I need someone to pay for my hair, I need someone to pay for my lashes, I need someone to pay for my clothes, I need somebody to pay for my food, and I need you to pay for my friends as well, I need you to pay for the alcohol, and I need you to pay for everything. If you can do that as a guy, the guy's like, okay, well, you're going to be mine then, and I want this and I want that, and we're going to be having sex and this and that. Go dig a business deal, right? Go dig a business deal. And obviously it doesn't really work out for a lot of people, because I think as human beings we were not really made to do that. And so that's why a lot of women feel objectified, although we feed into that. And also a lot of men feel used, but also a lot of men feed into that as well. But then also vice versa, that a lot of us women feed into the using of men and take advantage of that. And also a lot of men do objectify women as a result, because they're like, well, look, it looked to me like if I got the money and I got this and that, then I was going to get the woman. And that's what I feel like is perpetrated by rap music and culture these days. Not all of it. I'm not against rap. I really love rap, actually, as a actual art form. But a lot of rap culture today, that's what it promotes. It's promoting that type of thing, where you have the rapper and just the woman and this and that and all these like whatevers, where we're just doing this. And really the man's life is quite destructive. The woman's life is quite destructive. If they're in a relationship, the relationships are quite destructive, unhelpful. They're promoting things that are not really good for us, that sound nice, that sound fun. You know, it sounds fun to be, you know, of course, on a yacht with whoever, drinking this and doing that and twerking and this and that, and it's all fun and games, but it's empty at the end of the day. It's very, very empty. And I feel like we're in a society today where, like, I feel like we're gonna collectively in a society, maybe in like 10 years, 15 years or something, just have a crisis where we realize how empty everything is. You know, I was reading in the Bible, in the book of Ecclesiastes, right? And it was written by Solomon, and Solomon in the Bible was the wealthiest and the wisest. That's what the Bible says, that God made him the wisest and the wealthiest in all the land, right? King Solomon. And he's actually on the line of the throne of David. Who the last king on the throne of David was Rastafari, which is the one who the Rasta people, the Rastafarians, support. So I just thought I'd throw that in there so that it's like, it's not like some weird history of nothing. Like there was a real chain of command, like that was real, that really happened. But anyway, and King Solomon's talking in the whole of Ecclesiastes basically about like how, and he had like 1,000 women. He had 1,000 women. He had 1,000 women and concubines. Like he had everything he wanted in it. And he talks in there about how he had all the women he wanted. He had all the food he wanted, all the drink he wanted, all the anything he wanted, and he realized it all meant nothing. That's basically what the whole of Ecclesiastes is about. Like no matter how much he could give him, and he said, I didn't hold back from giving myself all that pleasured me. Right? And that's why I think God included it, to teach us a lesson as human beings, that this stuff is just nothing at the end of the day. And it's just going to cause destruction. And he was kind of having a bit of a crisis himself, like, oh, this is all nothing. I have everything and it's all nothing. It all sounded well and good, like when he was getting the prophecies, when David, his dad, was like, listen, here's the money, here's the blueprint for you, and go to do the work of the Lord. When he prayed to God, and God was like, and what do you want? He's like, I want wisdom. And he's like, I'll give you wisdom, and not just that, I'll give you this and I'll give you that. And God's like, I'm going to bless you, I'm going to make you rich. Got all those things, and guess what? Fast forward into Ecclesiastes, and my guy's talking about how this is all vanity, this is all vanity, and that's what he keeps saying, everything is vanity. He gave himself, and he says, I gave myself everything that pleased me. He had 1,000. Do you think these rappers, whoever, he had 1,000 wives and concubines? Like, I don't even understand. You can't even, anyway, that's what he did, right? And it was still to him nothing. And I think that's the thing about the enemy, is that he wants us to get caught up in the image, because that's what he was caring about. He cares about how things look, because how things look, I did a video about image versus character. It's very easy to distract people by how things look, because you can make something look anyway. That's why I even said, like, when it comes to when it comes to like women's beauty now, that we can just basically manufacture it, right? But it doesn't say anything about who we are on the inside. In the same way that you can have a guy who can have a car, who can have this and that, and that doesn't mean anything about his character. Doesn't mean he's a gentleman. Doesn't mean he's a nice guy. It doesn't mean he knows how to look after a woman. Doesn't mean he knows how to look after himself, for goodness sake, right? But this is what we've decided in society that we support, and it's very unhelpful, because those things, they feed into each other. It becomes more and more evil, and then we have more and more issues amongst ourselves. Because I think if not for a lot of this stuff, we wouldn't be having so much problems amongst men and women, especially online, especially with like all these red pill, blue pill communities. We wouldn't be having so many of those problems, because there wouldn't be so much pressure on either side or either way, right? And like, it has happened in that way. We had like the wave, first of all, was the rappers. The rappers came in, the male rappers came in, and they had all the video vixens, they had all the money, this and that. And then now we're in the new wave, where you've had the Cardi B's, the Meg Thee Stallions, which has introduced the ideas of, you know, the independent woman who doesn't even care about a man, and who becomes very masculine, in my opinion. I mean, even Meg Thee Stallion, like, that got to me, like, I was like, why the stallion? Like, why do we have to be a stallion? Like, for goodness sake, like, what is that about? Why can't we just, like, do you know what I mean? Why the stallion? Like, that masculine, like, energy, and then like overexposing yourself, right? And making that the norm. And so now we've had those two things. And so if you want to be part of the gold digger business deal, and you're genuinely happy with that, then okay. But a lot of the other, but even still, even that eventually, in the words of King Solomon, is all vanity. And it's all vanity. It's all gonna mean nothing. Like, at a certain point, you can have every single beautiful, this is why for me, like, even all this BBL stuff and all that, it's just not attractive to me, because I'm like, I could just basically manufacture myself, right, to look a certain way, which is what most girls do now. Like, I was the one who was innocently thinking everybody was just natural, like this, natural these bodies, natural these beauties, for a little while, right? I was in the ignorant camp. I was over there in naivety. And then I realized, wait, you've had work done, you've had work done, you've had work done, you've had work done, not to mention just the Kardashians or whatever. That's the norm now. So it's like, even the people that are beautiful, it's not natural beauty. You haven't found a rare gem. You found something that was manufactured. Do you know what I mean? Same with the guy. So what if he's got money? So what if he's got a chain? What about who he is as a person? What about who he is as a father? And again, this is something I always talk about, because this is what still happens, is that there's still children that are made. There are still, you know, all these children who end up with no accountability, or parents who care more about how they look on Instagram, or if they can make money online on social media through their relationship, or through them being a mother or a father, which of course some people do share that stuff online, and I don't think they're being exploitative, but there are some people who just do it, in my opinion, and it's like, okay, did you have kids just so you could become a mommy vlogger? Or you know what I mean? So that's why I feel like is the dark significance of all this stuff, is it's actually to create these lusts in us, to care about the things that actually don't matter, which then causes destruction, causes society to become negative in so many ways, which then backfires on us, which then creates us not being able to have what we would want. And it's just all this whole cycle and circle of things that doesn't really make sense. Do you get what I mean? And also ultimately creates what the Satan wants: kill, steal, and destroy, destruction. People struggle to find a man that they think is a good man, or a woman that they think is a good woman. We struggle to, so many more people are struggling with addictions, with mental health issues, with this, with that. I think this is a big part of it. It's not the only part, but I think it's a very pivotal part, because I think a lot of people, a lot of culture today stems from the rap culture. It stems from that area of, and especially because a lot of women want to be rappers. That's what makes that area so powerful. Because the attraction to the women, to those kinds of guys, makes guys want to become those kinds of guys in order to get women, right? It's in the same way that, like, how, you know, a lot of clubs will let women come attend for free, but men will have to pay like ridiculous amounts to get in, because they know the guys are going to pay if there's going to be women there. Do you see what I mean? And even that in and of itself is creating issues, because now there's these weird standards between women and men, when women with weird and unreasonable expectations, and also men with weird and unreasonable expectations. People are struggling nowadays to find somebody that they can actually be with. So those are just my thoughts, everybody. You let me know what you think about all of this. I think it's very demonic. I think it's very much programming us to have lust for these types of things, to lust after these types of things that are just meaningless, to get us caught up in addictions and obsessions about things that are just going to cause us destruction and are not going to bring us any real sense of fulfillment or joy or happiness or peace. And at least not for the long term. So yeah, you guys let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Don't forget to subscribe if you've enjoyed my video, and like the video if you have. God bless you all, and I'll see you in my next one. Goodbye.